before?
I was. Before I became a lawyer, I had to go to 4 years. I had to receive an undergraduate degree. That was a 4-year commitment, of course. Then you have to go 3 years to law school. Then you have to pass the New York State Bar, whatever jurisdiction you're in. So it's about a 7.5-year commitment. Then before you get to the bench, most courts require a minimum of 5 to 10 years in private practice.
So that's how you became a judge.
That's how you become a judge. Then on top of that, you have to have the fine folks in whatever jurisdiction you're in elect you. So it's a long process. But as I said, earlier you can start on that road toward that career path of that goal, the better off I think you are.
I'm going to be a lawyer.
Officer Clouds, did you always know that you wanted to be a police officer?
Yeah, I always knew that I wanted to be a police officer. I think ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old. Just watching cops on TV or watching, watching different detective shows, things like that. I always thought it'd be kind of interesting to be a detective or something, to kind of like outsmart someone else, kind of outsmart the bad guy, things like that. So it was always kind of, it looked like a very challenging job. It wasn't, and it wasn't always a 9 to 5. It's not a desk job where you sit and do tedious work, in my opinion. It was something exciting, something new every day. So it was something that I thought would emphasize a lot of my strengths.
Any question? Oh, question for you.
How many hours do you work a day?
Normal shift, 8 hours, but you can work overtime, which you can either do a 4-hour shift or an 8-hour shift after that.
In your, there's a handout that was passed out. In the handout, you have everyone on this table here. You have their educational experience on there. And feel free to look it up and ask some more questions that is related to the particular job that they do. Next question. Officer Marsha. What advice would you give to these students here that want a career such as yours? What advice do you have?
Don't get arrested. That is true. Don't get arrested. Don't smoke weed. Or drugs.
What am I saying? How does it feel to be a woman cop? Like, you don't feel like odd, like all the men, and you're like a woman cop? You're not scared?
Girl, I'm in.
I can hear you.
I'm the bomb. No, it's not weird. They respect me, so it's not weird.
I'd be scared.
No.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do they treat you any different?
What's that?
Do they treat you any different?
The men.
No.
No. That's the plus side. No. I have a lot of respect from the guys.
Do you have the same rights as whatever they can do, you can do?
He wants to talk.
Yeah, you might want to repeat the question.
And he wants to talk. I'm sorry.
We can't hear from that.
I'm sorry. That young lady asked a question. She didn't say it out loud, actually. I know she can. Go ahead.
Little.
Go ahead. Say it again.
She said, do they treat her any different?
She wants to know whether the male officers treat the female officers any different. And Officer Marsha said no. And
I'm with the fire department, and those are very good questions. And we have female firefighters as well. But I've had the opportunity to work with Officer Mosier quite a bit. And the big thing is, she does her job in a great way. She knows the people in her zone, she knows the good people in her zone, and she knows the bad people in her zone. And she is attentive to her job all the time. So it doesn't matter if she's a male or a female, she does her job and she knows her job, and that's the key. You know, we want to get female firefighters who do the same thing that Mari is doing in the police department. So I know it may embarrass her a little bit, but she does a great job, as do most of the Schenectady police officers. They do a great job, but it doesn't make any difference to us if it's a male or a female, and sometimes it's more important to have a female police officer dealing with particular kinds of situations. If you want to talk about that, I know you're a woman of few words.
How long have you been cop?
13 years.
What? I know, I was, hey, the cops is on story, huh?
Go ahead.
What do you like least about your job?
What?
What do you like least?
What does she like least about her job? What do you like least about your job?
Testify.
There's nothing that I don't like about my job. I really do like it a lot. So I couldn't tell you anything negative about it. Was that? People? Say it again?
People at their jobs.
Do the people at your job?
Well, yeah, the bosses do, you know, but it's what you make. You gotta get paid, though, you know, so you have to remain professional.
You're not scared of like the inmates and stuff?
Not scared of what?
Like the inmates and stuff, do you be like in the
I don't watch them, I lock them up and then they watch the inmates.
That's true.
And no, wait, wait.
Remember you.
Director Lowe. Can you tell the students how you went about achieving your goal and that wonderful career that has spanned? Tell them.
Well, it depends on which goal. I mean, when I got to be in probation, I didn't have a clue what probation was. I graduated from college on a Friday and I started work on a Monday. I didn't know. And I've worked in probation for 40 years. And yeah, 40 years. And I've never been bored. I've worked with juveniles, I've worked with adults, I've seen many people. I will tell you, I've seen some people with dead eyes that there's nothing we can do with them. There is a population that we can really work with, and I think the best feeling and what I like about what I've chosen is sometimes when somebody comes back to you and they say, thank you, you really helped me, I now have a life. Because one thing about being on probation, we get everybody that has been through doing a lot of different things, from the people who killed people to the people who have just stolen something, and we deal with them, and our best thing is if we can get it so you will never enter our system again, you can go out, be a productive citizen, and be part of the community. So I like what I do. It's interesting, and I haven't been bored once.
Does the people you,
Question.
does the people you take care of, like you said, do they ever give you a hard time with your job?
Supervise, give me a hard time sometimes? Yes, they do. It's sometimes hard supervising a group of people, getting them to do what they're supposed to do. Sometimes when I had probationers, sometimes they gave me hard times, but not usually, because I think what I tell every probation officer is anyone who comes into our office, you treat like a person. A lot of times they did something stupid, but hopefully if you treat them like a person with respect, they'll treat you back the same way. So if I treat somebody like a person, though, usually I don't get a hard time.
What is dead eyes?
The dead eyes are, there are some people that unfortunately, there's probably nothing that anybody is going to be able to do ever to make them change. It's a very, very small population, but unfortunately, they never had the opportunity, or I don't really know why. It's just never going to change, and it's really sad, and those are the ones that unfortunately are probably going to be in prison for life for everybody's protection. And it's really sad. But the majority of the people, you can make a difference, you can change.